Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers, and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. In this series, we're taking a look at GPS. In this episode specifically, we're going to talk about using hardware-based GPS devices. Now, GPS stands for Global Positioning Service and allows you to look up at the satellites provided by the U.S. military and see where you are on the face of the Earth. Now, with a hardware-based GPS, it's a dedicated device that is designed strictly to look up at the satellites and find out where you are and put that information up on a screen. Now, for a GPS device to work properly, typically it needs a clear view of the sky in order to see where all the satellites are. Typically, it doesn't work indoors very well because it doesn't see the sky directly. It may see satellite information coming in through a window, for example, like we have back here, but it tends to ricochet around and it doesn't provide exact information. So for the best results on a GPS device, you want it to be out in the open or have an antenna that's out in the open so that it actually can look up and see where all the satellites are in direct relation to each other and the device itself without any reflections of the signals. Now, these devices are typically battery powered and you can carry them around in your hand. The number one use for them is for navigation inside your car. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find a way to get it into your car that's safe, allows you a good view of the road and the device itself without interfering with any of the other things you need to do. Because of this, a lot of GPS manufacturers, when they sell these to you, sell a car kit or have one bundled into the box. So when you have the car kit for your GPS, it typically comes with a mounting bracket like this. You can stick the GPS onto and lock it into place so that it holds it upright. It has a suction cup on the one side so you can stick it directly to your windshield, keep it out of the way of other devices. And also sometimes comes with a mounting plate so that if you don't have a space on the windshield that you want to put this on, you'd rather put it on the dashboard, you can stick this onto the dashboard itself, stick the suction cup to the plate, and then spin this around so that it goes the other way. Now, because the battery on this isn't going to last forever, you're going to want a way to power it up, and it usually comes with an adapter either for powering it up at home or for use in the car. So it has the power end that connects to the device itself, like so, and then it has the other end which plugs into your car's cigarette lighter. Now, once you have the GPS installed inside your car, you'll want to turn it on and start to scan for the satellites. Now, it takes a few seconds for it to locate all the satellites it needs typically, especially if you're in an area with a lot of buildings around. If you're out in the wide open, it might be a little bit quicker, but it still takes a little bit of time to lock onto the various satellites and triangulate the position. Once the GPS locks onto the satellites, it should position you on a map so you'll know where you are if you don't already. Then when you start to move around from place to place, the GPS will track your movement and relocate you on the map, and the map should move with you. This allows you to navigate from place to place very easily. Now, the GPS devices that you get these days have a bunch of built-in maps. So not only does it know where you are right now in terms of longitude and latitude, but it also knows where you are on the map. This includes both street names and actual addresses on the street, so it can tell where 13 is on a street as opposed to 78. So in order to get the GPS to help you navigate from place to place, you'll need to find the option on your particular GPS, and it differs from GPS to GPS, for navigation. In this case, we'll tap the button that says Navigate To. Now, most GPSs, it has a home option, so you set ahead of time your home address, and then it'll navigate you to home from wherever you happen to be at that second. It also generally gives you the option to have several favorites or keeps track of where you've been, and it offers you the ability to say, I want to go to this particular address right now, and it'll ask you for the address, and you'll start to enter the coordinates. In this case, it's first going to ask us for the city where we want to navigate to, then they'll ask us for the street, and then they'll ask us for the address on that street. You may have the ability to get to that by using the zip code or the postal code, or you may also have the ability to get to it using an intersection. This varies from machine to machine, obviously. Once you have the target address locked into your GPS for navigation, then click the button to start the navigation. GPS will then determine a route from here to there. Often you have the ability to say, I don't want to go on highways, or avoid residential streets and keep me on the highways as much as possible. Then once it's plotted the route, it'll start giving you directions on how to get there over the speaker in the GPS. So it'll say, turn left in 300 meters. With older GPSs, they would just say, turn left in 300 meters. With newer GPSs, it may actually list the name of the streets as well and try its best to say what the name of the street is. Now, the nice thing about the way GPSs are designed is they don't provide completely rigid mapping. So if you decide you want to take a slightly different route than the one that it offers up to you, or you have to get around an obstacle, or you just miss your turn, it should recalculate the route based on the current position you happen to find yourself in after making that choice, and then recalculate the route and tell you how to get to your destination from that point. So it is very dynamic that way. Now, a number of GPSs these days also offer live traffic services, usually for a small subscription fee. So it'll be able to track what the traffic is like in the various areas you're going live right now by using a service that uploads that information to the service that the GPS can then pull down. So if it senses that there's a traffic jam ahead, it can say, okay, you might want to take a different route around that. Now, of course, it's worth noting that live traffic services won't necessarily be universal. You might drive into an area that doesn't have them. So it could be a local service. So double check the coverage areas of your live traffic services before you buy it, just in case you're going into areas that won't have it. Now, it's worth noting, of course, that these GPS devices typically don't have all of the maps in the world on board, because that takes a lot of information. So they're generally regional. So a lot of these that you buy in North America will have US or US and Canada, but not necessarily anything in Europe. So if I decided I wanted to buy this in Canada and then take it over to Europe while I'm on a holiday and use that to navigate, I'd probably need to buy a map pack. It's not always possible to upgrade these to another map, but often they have a slot on the side that allows you to insert that information with the maps on an SD card, for example, and then take that with me, or in a lot of cases you can upload it via USB to the back end of the device itself. So it's worth checking if you're planning to take this into various jurisdictions that your GPS device will handle that ability to accept other maps than the ones that are built right into it. Well, that's a basic look at hardware GPS units. We'll take a look at some of the other features you can see on this in an upcoming episode, and we'll also take a look at how to use GPS on your smartphone in an upcoming episode of this series. Don't forget you can check out the show notes for this and the other parts of the series at butterscotch.com.